you tired of trying to choose between having a great night out or having a great next day? Well, ZBiotics is here to make that decision easy. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists as a way to tackle rough mornings after a night of drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted to a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. Just remember to take ZBiotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best in the morning. My friend Joel swears by ZBiotics. With a 100% money-back guarantee, guys, there's no risk. If you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's going to get you 15% off your first order when you use promo code Chael at checkout. You can also go to zbiotics.com/Chael or just click the link below. So Ian Garry got asked to leave the gym in England where Leon Edwards trains. And I got to tell you at the very beginning, my first reaction, that hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings for Ian Garry. I know what it's like to be a young guy trying to get through and doing a good job in the media and getting some attention, but you're still the poorest guy in the gym. You're still far more unlikely to headline an event just with your own gym. And what an honor and opportunity to have a champion, the champion of the weight class. The guy that has already achieved and done what your life's dream is to do. And here you are making a sacrifice. To be out there, it's a financial sacrifice. It's a physical sacrifice. And you're helping to polish and you're helping to shine him. And you're helping him to keep that belt, the very belt that you're aspiring to have, but that's your teammate, that's your friend, it's your workout partner. I mean, it's a really interesting situation. And the coaches, there will never be a meaningful coach. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if there's millions of dollars on the line or if you're 9 years old playing Little League. That coach is a father figure. It's somebody that you would trust with everything. Where if you're in a place where you get one phone call and you know it's to him, you know he's going to handle it. You trust him fully. You would trust him with secrets, with your advice. You're trusting him with your career. If he yells something for you to do blindly, you will do it. And you will have full confidence that your best interests are in mind when it came out of his mouth in the first place. Whether it works out or not, you'll know where his heart was. So if you then have that person, that coach that comes and tells you that somebody that you idolize has privately come to them and that they, the coach, are making a business decision to honor the request, and it means that you go, it's a very hurtful thing. I didn't like reading it. When Ian Garry, who comes out, right, his gimmick, it's very brash, it's very in your face, he doesn't care. He has no boss. He makes the rules. When he did the interview about this, you started to see, and he was trying to stay in character. He was trying to give it from that perspective, but the real guy was coming through, and it also hurt him. The surprise and the disappointment that he had, it also hurt him. And I won't share with you who was wrong. Like, there could be other parts to the story, and it's not the first time that we've heard it. I'll give you an example, and allegedly. But Amanda Nunes stopped training with Kayla Harrison as Kayla was getting better and better. But I do feel that Amanda's situation was slightly different in that Kayla was speaking about those workouts, saying that they happen, and made it clear to anybody that would listen that when that opportunity comes, she would take it. When I tell you I'm not here to pass judgment, I don't suggest for you that Kayla did something wrong, but I would suggest for you, if you were there first and somebody came in and did this and you're helping and giving to them, that there could be a little bit of, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. I get that. I could pass that around. That's not how we did it in the world of wrestling. You could be as uncomfortable as you want. Every day at 3, here's what's going to happen. Anybody who would like to come through those doors to get exercise and a workout and will. And the only condition is they show respect and do exactly what the coach asked them to. That's the deal. Anybody can come in. Could be your rival, be your opponent, be the guy that stopped you from having your dreams come true. And you could do it to him. It's universal. Anywhere in the world for wrestling. Any country, any city, any high school, any college, any way that you wanted to do it. Anybody that finds out about the workout that shows up and is willing to do whatever the coach asks them gets to come. So I don't have an ability to relate to it, but I would like to share with you something, as I tell you, I'm not passing judgment, something that was a surprise and does change the dynamic of what I said just a little. Is I thought Ian Garry was at Stanford MMA. I thought he was teammates with Blahal, with Luque, with Usman, with Burns. That's what I thought. I thought that that was his gym. So now I'm left to guess. And I got to disclose to you guys, I am guessing. I don't have this information, but my guess would be that Ian Garry and Luque and the coaches at Stanford were not totally comfortable with everybody training together at the same time. So whoever's idea it was, and it might have been Ian's on his own, decided to get on a plane and go to England, and that's where he was going to prepare for the Luque fight. And that, in and of itself, would be a very difficult thing to ever return to Stanford MMA. If he was asked to leave, by example, you can't go back. But if it was your idea to leave, and by the way, these are going to be your new cornermen, these are going to be your new guys for this fight, you've got a problem. First off, this gym isn't going to forget that that's what you did and that's where you chose. And moreover, if you go to these guys and you did explain to them up front, here's the reason and here's the cause and let's go do this together, they know that you're not loyal to them back. And the idea of loyalty in MMA, or the idea in combat, is a very rare one. But it's hard to go anywhere if you don't have it. Because if you don't have it and display it, no matter what checks you write, no matter what your ranking is, no matter what opportunity you have, the other guy's not going to be all in. And in a game like this, which is a game of inches, if they don't trust and have loyalty and know that you're here, not just for this one, but win or lose for the next one, and win or lose for the next one, and win or lose for the next one. A real coach, a father figure, the same guy that you had in junior high, or at least that same idea and mentality where you could trust him completely. If you don't have that from both sides, you have a big problem. So if I'm right, it's a big if I'm right, that that's what Garry was doing in England in the first place, that he was out there because Luque stayed at Stanford and the coaches chose him, or he and Luque, who appear to be buddies. I mean, remember the phone call that they had with each other? Maybe they just worked it out on their own. Instead of splitting times and staggering times, instead of doing that at the same facility, right? There's a lack of trust by somebody. Whether they openly admit it or not, one of them, if I'm right, if he went there because of this fight, has a lack of trust. You could stay on this end of the room. You could come at 3, he comes in at 5. There's a number of ways to name that baby. But if you pack up and you leave and you're not even in the same facility with the same teammates and the same coach, right, it's very hard to go back. And if I'm right, if that is the situation, he's been asked to not go to England, why did he leave Stanford in the first place? Was that his choosing? If that was his choosing, he's not going to be Mr. Welcome back at Stanford, whether they act like he is or not. Oh, hey, it's great to see you. Glad that you're back. It's not. It's not. They now know. They now know before they hand you or put the secret sauce or give you the extra attention. They now know that they don't have any trust with you because you didn't trust them, and you demonstrated that by leaving. Like things get really interesting. And I don't celebrate that on behalf of Garry. As a young guy who's trying to find his way and he's taking big sacrifices, I would like to see it work out. I would like to see people be a little bit nicer to him. But now I am curious. If those were his 2 gyms, and those gyms are now out, where is he preparing? I mean, that Luque fight is a real uphill battle. for both of them. I mean, that's just a very difficult fight. Momentum, newness, freshness appears to be on the side of Garry, but boy, experience and a proof that you can get it done, not to mention with the fantastic submission skills against a more of a striking guy. I mean, you got a really interesting match. Can we just agree on that? But you get an interesting match just on its own and just with the merits. Coaches are not going to do a whole lot. A lot of that is make-believe. I understand that, but they are going to do something. You have tendencies that whether you know you have them or not, they do exist, and your teammate does know that you have them. So if one guy is to leave or one guy gets chosen or teammates can't be trusted, they can give something that's very valuable. It's very helpful. I do not attempt to say that coaches can't do a lot. What I'm sharing for you is when you get to the professional sports, you get to Division I athletics, you have somebody, if they're on a scholarship and they're paid to be it, they're already very good. There's not a huge learning curve. So a guy can get here, a coach is right here, right? That coach can make up that gap. You believe in that coach and he sees something and he can make that gap up. He for sure can pull you up. But if you got a separation, you don't have loyalty, and this whole thing's based on what? What is it possibly based on if it's not about loyalty? Is it based on money? There's not big money here. Not any good coaches that are in it just for the money. Anywhere. So it's an interesting spot. I don't have the answers. Did my best to tell that story as best that I can, but I am disclosing to you guys that some of it is guesses. But I do know that Garry did have a relationship with that gym in England. I know that because I read interviews that Garry did about Leon, where, by the way, he put him over. He said the most incredible things. Garry said some of the most incredible things about the well-roundedness of Leon. He can do everything: wrestle, jiu-jitsu, great shape, punch, kick, knee, elbow. I mean, I remember this. So there was some kind of relationship that wasn't just new, where he comes in the door, hey, look, I got to tell you. So if that relationship's gone, and the one at Stanford, right? I mean, that's severed. Whether they've told him that or not, if he tries to show back to Stanford and act like everything's good after he left in the first place, right? I mean, things get really weird. They get really weird really fast, which just brings me back to my question. Where is Ian Garry preparing for his upcoming fight with Luque?